Hello, it's your favorite sports Unc here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join the fastest growing community on YouTube. Remember, Nightcap doesn't happen without you. So please subscribe or you're going to make Ocho cry. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very, very special guest joining us to recap the day's events, the sprinting events. He's a 5-time Olympic medalist. He's a 12-time World Championship medalist. He's the 2004 Olympic champion in 100 meters. He beat Francis Obokwelu from Portugal by 1/100th of a second. He ran 9.85. Obokwelu ran 9.86. He's a 2005 and 2017 world champ in the 100 meters. He's a 2005 world champ in the 200 meters. He's a 2019 world champ in the 4x4, the 4x1. He is none other than Justin Gatlin. Nephew, what's going on, bro? Thanks for joining us.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Chad, what's up, Ocho? What's up, baby?
Man, everything good. I'm still waiting to race you. I've been waiting by 10, 15 years now. We're gonna put them spikes on.
But you know what? So, first of all, I was trying to add that to my stats. I was trying to get that to say, hey, beat Chad Ochocinco in the street race. But my package ain't come. I hit the button that said 30 days on Amazon instead of overnight. So I ain't get my spikes yet. So we're gonna wait for those.
Okay, anytime.
We're gonna get that popping though.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Justin, let's jump right into it. In the women's 100-meter final, this was an upset. She was the overwhelming favorite, although Julien Alfred has been running well all year. She's been in her bag all year. So let's not just make it seem like she just came on the scene. She's an NCAA champ. She's a medalist on the world stage. She can run. And she put the race together of her life. She got out of the blocks, and Sha'Carri couldn't chase her down. It seems like to me that Sha'Carri was not herself. She wasn't as jubilant. She wasn't playing around like she normally was. When you watch this race and you break it down from your professional standpoint, what, besides Julien Alfred running well, what do you think happened to Sha'Carri in this race?
Well, I think Sha'Carri is known to be a fighter, right? That's how she's made her mark in the sport. She's fought the world. We know it because you can see it in her races. When she comes across that line, she's roaring. Right. You know what I mean? So watching her run, she didn't show that, I think, in the semis and the finals. But once again, just like in the Super Bowl, when you get to that Olympic line, everything that you think of when you was a little kid about being an Olympic medalist or going to the Super Bowl, it's those flashbacks that come to you. That moment is here now. It's a heavy moment that you have to put on your back when that gun goes off. So I think at the end of the day, sometimes that moment gets bigger than you, and the preparation, you just got to put to the side and say, everything that got me to this point, I'm going to do it again.
Go ahead, Ocho.
I mean, I think all Sha'Carri has to do, she's been phenomenal all year. She's been phenomenal all year. Obviously, she did win silver. And there's one thing, I'm not a track runner. I'm not a track star, but I am familiar with track runners, with athletes. I have one now. My daughter's here. She's at University of Kentucky. If we could help my baby, with her start, and just get a faster start, just get a better start, turn it over a little faster, because the back half of the race, she's good. She's good. And other than that, I have nothing bad to say. I'm happy. She won silver, and I'm excited.
I don't think that the Sha'Carri that we know showed up today. And that's nothing against Sha'Carri. No. I think that if the Sha'Carri we know that showed up to the Olympic trials, would have handled business today. Yeah, that would have been a very close race and a very competitive race today.
Hey, Justin, I have a question. With someone as good as that, I'm sure, obviously, whenever you race, especially on a stage this big, do you, as a runner, as a competitor, do you still consider it a bad thing coming in second? Is that? I mean, how do you guys view it as Olympic sprinters, not winning gold, but still placing, really well?
I mean, when you look at the point of how you trained all year, you've become the favorite, and you've worked so hard to make sure you want to obtain that gold. Yeah, it's a little hurt in your heart. You know what I mean? Because your focus is to get that gold. That's what you're here for. You're the favorite going into the finals. You're the favorite going into the Olympics. So everyone's already saying that it's yours to lose. That's what you want. But if you're looking at it from like 50,000 feet up, where you look at yourself against 7.9 billion people in the world, you getting that second place is still an accomplishment. You know what I mean? Especially for if you have a young career, you have a long career in front of you.
Yeah, so long way.
I don't think that she should walk away feeling with her head hanging down. It's the fact that it's motivation going into the World Championships and her getting ready for the next Olympics when it comes.
This is what we've talked about with Sha'Carri all along. Even when Sha'Carri, before what transpired in 2021, we always question the starts. We know at this level, this is not high school. This is not the collegiate level, Justin. You are not going to consistently run down these men and women if you get left in the blocks. They're just too talented. You can't spot women and men that are the equivalent of you 2 meters and think you're going to chase them down. The reason why Bolt got so good, became great, is because he worked on that start. And once he could get out the blocks even with you, once he got to 50 meters and he stood up, it was over. Sha'Carri has a top end, like you got to go back to FloJo to find a female that has a top end like Sha'Carri, but she's giving up too much ground in the beginning of the race, Justin, and she can't chase these women down consistently.
So my coach, when I was competing, is actually her coach.
Dennis Mitchell.
And my coach always said, Dennis Mitchell said, 9-7, don't catch 9-7. So you can't give a deficit to an individual that is your equal out there when you competing against.
Exactly.
You got to make sure that you go through your checks and balances before that race. And when that gun goes off, anything that is what you got to hit, which is your strong suit, you got to capitalize on your strong suit.
Right.
And her strong suit is that second half. She has to be in striking distance of the Julien Alfred, because Julien Alfred is strong. She gonna push through that line, and that's what she did tonight. She got in front, and she did not relinquish that lead. For Sha'Carri had to give, like you said earlier, with Usain Bolt, have a good start. You ain't got to be in front of the field. We know that when the light goes on and you hit that 50-meter mark, Sha'Carri wakes up. Yeah, and we see what she can do when she wakes up. So the fact is, now the Olympic goal is somewhere else. Let that be motivation for her to be able to come back and do something bigger and better. We need to see a 10-5.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Justin, is that we look at her in the trials. She ran 10.71. She ran high 10.80s. I don't know if people understand how slow. Now, we're not talking about the worlds when she ran 10.65, which is probably one of the 4 or 5 fastest time ever run by a woman. She ran 10.71 at the trials, and it wasn't close. Today, she ran high 10.80s. That's not Sha'Carri. Sha'Carri can run 10.80 in her sleep. But I believe the moment, the pressure, the expectations came along, and all of a sudden she was still in the blocks. I'm like, she's not catching. Once I saw the way Julien Alfred got out, I said, Sha'Carri's not catching her. Not today. Not today. She'd have had to run 10.6. I don't know if she could have called if she'd have run 10.65 with the start that she got today, Justin. And then listen, and what we're trying to do, we're trying to analyze and go through the steps, the cadence of what a world-class runner, male or female, goes through. And what Justin said, what I'm trying to say is that, look, he said it. Dennis Mitchell said, if you run 9.7 and I run 9.7 and I get you out the gate, you're not catching me. It's just like a race car. If we both got 800 horsepower, and I get you off the line, Ocho, you not catching me. If I got 800 horsepower, you got 800 horsepower, and we're the equivalent drivers. So she had to hit that mark. She needed to be with Alfred. And then when we got to 50, now let's see. My top end was even with your front end. And now let's see who can get to the last 50 meters. And go ahead.
I always thought about something. When I think about racing, obviously, I don't know track like that. Justin, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think there may be 2 phases or maybe 3 different phases in track. Obviously, there's a start. That's one phase, I would assume. Then you have your drive phase, which I'm assuming you driving out to get out. And then I'm not sure what the third phase might be called. Your transition, being able to hold that phase as long as possible. I'm assuming your strength, you don't actually turn over and get faster. You're just able to maintain that top end speed longer than everybody else. So when it comes to racers, there's a bunch of receivers in the NFL. Everybody can catch, but they all get open a different way. So are there runners, or is it crazy to say that each runner has a different strength and nobody will have all 3 phases and be really good at all 3 phases, Justin?
That's the one thing I love about running 100 meters, man. All 3 of us are built different.
See,
we have different attributes we bring to the table, but all 3 of us could run sub 10.
Bingo.
That's what you're looking at when you're looking at those women when they get to the line, and the men. It's the fact that there's some are tall, some are short, some are stocky, some are skinny.
Right.
But the fact is they all can go. You know what I mean? I think you have to play on what your strengths are, but you have to mask and protect what your weaknesses are. And for her in that situation is, all right, we know you're not the best starter in the world, but the fact is, it's saying, like you said, you got to make sure that you get out, you in striking distance, and you got to get to what you are good at, which is your top end speed. Right. You have your start, you have your drive phase, you have your transition, you have your top end speed, and you finish. That's what it is. It's those 5 phases, and she's good at 4 of those 5. You see what I'm saying? Once she gets going, it's a wrap, and we see it. And especially through that prelims, if you watch her prelims, them wheels were spinning when she come through that line, and she only clocked a 10.9, and she was just spinning. So you know that she had a lot left in the tank, and the confidence was there as well. Going into that finals and that semis, it was a whole different ball game. When you line up next to somebody that you know that can be a possible threat, you know what I'm saying? Now you start second guessing. But in those moments, in those moments when you're running Olympic finals, there ain't no 4 quarters, there ain't no 2 halves. You only get 10 seconds for them females. You only get 9 seconds for them men. You ain't got time to think. It's all instinctual. You got to react like a savage. You got to get out there and just go.
Yeah, I agree with you, Justin. I'm not so sure. I'm not saying that Ocho, remember you and I was talking? Justin, how fair would it be if Usain Bolt had Christian Coleman start or had your start? It wouldn't be fair. He'd run sub 9.4 if he had a start like that with a top end. With a top end like what he has. But the thing is, as runners, Ocho, once you get to a certain point, it's not about speeding up. It's about the process when you start to decelerate. His deceleration is so much slower than everyone else's deceleration. And so that's why it looks like, man, he's speeding up. He's not. It's just everybody else is slowing. Everybody else is just slowing down a lot faster than what he is. And I believe Sha'Carri, she didn't need to be second out of the block, but she couldn't be dead last out of the block. And I think that was the difference in the race, because you get somebody like Julien Alfred, who's a strong runner, who can start exceptionally well. If you spot her that much distance, I'm not saying you need to be second out of the blocks, but if you dead last and give up that much separation, you're not catching her. You're not catching her.
Yeah. It's the same thing. But you about to give me some nightmares, man. If Usain Bolt had a Christian Coleman start and a Usain finish, I probably have to take up a whole other career, brother. But at the end of the day, when you look at Julien Alfred, you're giving her praise. Her track record speaks for it. She's a 2-time NCAA champion, the 100 and the 200. She is the indoor world champion just of this year. And then she went into the finals with one of the fastest times of the season. So she knows how to get it done in championship environments. So she ain't that kind of person that's just sitting there hoping that she gets on the podium. She's coming to get to the top of that podium. That's what she's built.
Can I ask you this? What do you think? Because if you look at a lot of these runners, Sha'Carri did not run after the trials. Julien Alfred ran. Noah Lyles ran. Rob Benjamin ran. Christian Warholm ran. Alison Dos Santos ran. Femke Bol ran. How much? Because that's like a 6-week lull in between when you're here to all of a sudden trying to ramp it back up in 6 weeks. Do you believe that played a role?
I don't necessarily think so, only because I came from that same coaching system. I know Dennis is going to get you ready. He knows what's at stake. And we train extremely hard, right? To the point where it did give you nightmares. When I retired, my body felt better retired than it did when I was in the game. You see what I'm saying? So we work hard, man. So I know that she was working hard, and that moment meant everything, not only to her, but her whole training group. It meant, and to her whole circle, her coaching, her agency. They knew that this moment was there for them. So I think that she was prepared physically for that moment. It's just the fact that the moment was very big. Yeah, the moment was very big.
This was a very seismic moment for the small Caribbean island of St. Lucia with a population of under 200,000. Julien Alfred just won the nation's first ever Olympic medal and it's gold. Her time of 10:72 is a St. Lucian national record that puts her in the top 10 all time. The margin of victory, the 0.15, the biggest winning margin in the women's 100-meter Olympic final since Shelley Ann Fraser-Price won in Beijing in 2008. That's how dominant what Julien Alfred just did. Let that sink in. The biggest margin of victory in 16 years. We know, as far as women starting, ain't nobody had to start like the Mommy Rocket. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. But here's the thing. In order for you to beat Shelly-Ann, for Elaine Thompson-Herah, she had to be close because she got that FloJo closing speed. She said, if I can just be close, I know at 50 meters, if I'm close, I'm going to come get you. But if you're not close, and hey, look, a lot of those Jamaican women can get out the gate on you. I mean, we forget about Veronica Campbell-Brown. We forget about Stewart. What's the name?
Karan Stewart. Look at Karan Stewart ran 10-7.
Stewart, the Jamaican lady for Stewart. Obviously Merlene Ottey, Jolene Kirk. Jamaica has female sprinters. I mean, out the yin yang. We just know about over the last, say, decade, when we talk about Shelly-Ann Fraser and we talk about Merlene Ottey, and we talk about some of the ones that we know. Sharika Jackson. Sharika Jackson started as a 400-meter runner, won the bronze medal, dropped down, and now here she is, one of the fastest women in the world, the fastest, ran the second fastest time ever at the Worlds last year, 21:41, starting to challenge FloJo's record. I think her record is what? 21:33, 21:34. I think it's something like that. So we know what the Jamaican women can do, but give Julien Alfred, Juju, she put on the show today. She put on the show today. And you watch the watch party, Justin, and you see the way that nation, man, you thought you was at a local bar and that was the hometown team playing in the Super Bowl, Ocho, or the NBA final. The way that nation got behind that young lady.
Ocho, Shannon, I'm gonna tell you right now, man. Watching her win, and how many people are in her country? Over 200,000.
Less than 200. Less than
200.
Drop in the bucket when you're talking about 7.9 billion people in the world. You understand?
Yes.
And when she goes home to train, everyone in the country line up on the fence just to watch her do drills, A skips and B skips just to watch her train. They'd have so much love for her. She is one of those generational athletes that's going to help the next generation of female sprinters and male sprinters have confidence to say, I'm from a small island, I can get the job done too.
Job done. Yeah.
There's a video surfacing. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, this is her last Olympics. She let it be known, this is my last Olympics. That I guess what's transpiring, Justin, if you don't ride the team bus, people are having issues getting in. And it seems like Sha'Carri had that issue and Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce had the issue getting to the warm-up area. And I guess when she got there late, she ended up tweaking a hamstring. I'm not really sure. You're in Paris, Justin. What have you heard was the reason or one of the reasons why Shelly-Ann pulled out of this race, knowing it's her last Olympics?
Well, first of all, it started off that she had hamstring issues, and then it started off that she wasn't let into the warm-up area. Now hearing that it's she had to ride the bus to be able to get into the warm-up area. To me, bro, it's just ludicrous. First of all, in our sport, when you are a star, you come in with a private car because you dialed in, you focused.
Right.
To get on that bus, sometimes that bus gets overpacked. There ain't no seats left. You got to sit on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Just to get to ride for 20, 30 minutes on a bus where there ain't no air conditioning and to get to the stadium. Yes, it's a humbling experience. But when you are poised to win or you have won Olympic gold, there should be a different level of preparation for you. We know that you can get the job done. There's no reason why she should not have been let into the warm-up area to get ready for her last 100 meters that we ever gonna see. That I feel like that was a shame to the fact of altering her preparation and the legend that Mommy Rocket is. Now we're gonna look back at those channels on the internet and see that vacant lane 5, and there's no Mommy Rocket there. I feel like that hurt my heart, knowing that such a legend, and y'all legends in your own right. Imagine that they call your name out to come out on the field and then you don't show up because you couldn't get what you need to get done. No.
We couldn't get into the stadium.
Exactly. You couldn't get into the damn stadium. The Olympics should oblige those ones that we know that are gunning for that Olympic title, because that's gonna make a better show for everybody.
Right.
Damn, man.
Ocho, what was anticlimactic? The U.S. 4x4 Mixed relay yesterday.
Yes, sir.
Dwayne Dedman, Vernon Norwood, Shamir Little, and Brown. I forget Brown's first name. They set the world record in the 4x4 mixed relay. But today, the Dutch team, anchored by the legendary Femke Bol, who ran a sub 48 closing split. She ran 47.93, and she tracked down the American to snatch gold.
I saw that.
Justin, was it a mistake not to have Quincy Wilson? Because you took him over there, and I don't get it. Now, he's run in the rounds at the trials. He ran sub 45 all 3 rounds. His last meet, I think it was the Edwin it was maybe the Edwin Moses or the one in Florida with what's the guy, the hurdler?
Yeah,
Holloway, Grant
Holloway. Yep.
Holloway Classic. He ran 44.20, which is one of the fastest times in the world this year. Why you say, well, he doesn't have world experience. Well, how the hell is he going to get it if you take him across the water and don't let him run? So what did you think was going to happen, Justin, if you let the kid run? He's going to all of a sudden blow up and run a 50? I don't think that's going to happen. So what do you think happened in the mixed relays, other than Femke Bol running that legendary anchor leg?
So sources are saying that the Quincy Wilson got injured, you know what I'm saying, while he was at practice for the relay. So if that's the case, I hope he gets well soon. He's had an amazing season. First of all, he's PR'd 4 times this season as a 16-year-old. He ran a whole youth season. Then he went to big boy trials. You know what I mean? He went out there to Olympic trials, handled his business in Olympic trials, made the relay team, and then he went overseas to run races as well. So he dropped that 44.20, which makes him the 3rd fastest American this season. And he ran stride for stride with one of the fastest Americans this whole season to be able to get that 44.20. And that means he's about the top 5 fastest times of the year throughout the world. You understand? So maybe his legs are a little tired, but if he wasn't injured, there was no reason why you don't use this young athlete on the team. That gives other opportunity to be able to rest the athletes that are critical in your finals, right? So if you rested Bryce Dedman for the prelims, you put Quincy Wilson in there, he's going to show out, and you're not going to have a real look of what the finals Team USA is going to do in the finals. Now you kind of leaving everybody guessing what they look like. They broke the world record, which is bittersweet because they broke the world record at
in the prelims.
3 minutes, 7 seconds, and 3 minutes, 7 and 41 seconds was the world record they smashed, right? To win the gold was 3 minutes, 7 seconds, 0.43. So literally just a couple of hundreds of seconds away from breaking that world record, or they could have got that Olympic gold.
And that's the difference. Yep, look, Justin, you had a 15-year career at that level. You was running subs. Damn near you and Kim Collins might be the only two that's ever run sub 10 at 40 years of age. So you know the margins of victory. It's not like high school. You're not finna be blowing these people out of the water. These people can run. And look, I get it. Like when you're running, you're in the moment, and they stayed on the gas, the anchor leg. I was listening to Richard Ross. She's like, she's still on the gas. I thought she would back off and save some in the tank. There was no reason to break the world record, because you break the world record in the prelims and you don't get gold. People are gonna be scratching your head with like, damn, did you leave some of that on the track the day before? Ocho, you know how we talking like, hey, save some of them catches for next week, or save some of those baskets for next week. Don't use them all up right now. So if you're the coach of that team, what would have been your strategy, Justin, going into, let's just win to make sure we qualify. We're not out for a world record. We just want to make sure we qualify, and then let's drop the hammer in the finals.
Well, I think right now it's kind of with the same thing going on with the men's basketball. The world's catching up to you. The world's catching up to you. You have a lot of international athletes who come to America to get trained by American coaches at American institutes. So they're understanding the ideology that we have when it comes to competing at a high level, right? But the thing is happening now is the fact of, as if I was that relay coach, I would say, go out there, qualify. That's all we need to do. Qualify, get to that finals, then you let loose. Get that goal and that world record. then you're going to catch everybody off guard. But now the fact of they gave Femke Ball and Team Netherlands a look. You guys running 3 minutes and 7 seconds? Okay, cool. We going to be ready for that when it comes to the finals. They came out with the same quartet. So they knew exactly what that order was going to be. They knew exactly how they were going to run, and of the fact of you went and broke.
We're having a little technical difficulties with Justin's mic. He is in Paris, ladies, so forgive us. And it's the wee hours of the morning, so we greatly, greatly appreciate Justin taking time out of his busy schedule, staying up late night with us to break down these races. I agree with you, but Harris, the difference is that you see they brought Femke. Now, is that 47.90 going to take something out of her legs for the 400? Because you know Sid wants to be, she's thought of right now as the greatest 400-meter female women's hurdler in the history. There's something to be said about a two-time Olympic champ. Because for me, Justin, I believe this will be her last 400. I believe Bobby and her will focus on the open 400 to make her the greatest middle distance sprinter in the history. If she can win 2 golds in the Olympics, in the 400 hurdles and the world, and then turn around and in the world championship win the 400 gold, sitting up for 2028 to win the 400, it ain't even close.
At the end of the day, you got to look at what Femke Ball's building. Femke Ball's building a campaign to show how great she is. Yes, Sydney's chasing history. Femke Ball is chasing Sydney to history. But what's going to happen is Sydney can't make no mistakes in her race. She can't hit no hurdle. She can't stutter step. Femke Ball is going to be right there in that picture frame when it counts. Do I think that running that 44.7 to run that 47 in that mixed relays is going to tax Femke Ball? No, she's trained for that this whole season. She's been running mixed relays from the world relays all the way through to now. So her body's ready for that. It's used to it.
Hey, you know, when I think about it, they set the world record, and then you come back and to gas out on the last, I'm assuming gassed out, that monkey jump on your back, which allowed the Netherlands or Holland, for that matter, to close the gap where we weren't able to win gold. Is there any other methods that you guys go through in preparation for after running a race like that to kind of recover a little bit faster outside of cold tub, ice tub, massages? Is there anything else you guys can do to kind of refresh your legs after an event like that?
Not necessarily. We do have the state-of-the-art trainers that come with us, for Team USA. So everyone's on deck, making sure these athletes are ready for the next event or the next round for the finals. So I think they're going to be in great hands. When you look at somebody like Femke Ball, she ran from 4th place to 1st place. That's hard to do already. If you already in the lead, Team USA was already in lead by a margin. So for her to run people down one by one to get to the front, what do you do? The only thing you can do is you got to go into your arsenal and get a bigger gun. You got to go get someone like tap Sydney on the shoulder and say, Sydney, we need you for this mixed relay. We got to see what we can do, because now that's the only thing you really can do.
Okay.
Yeah. It's gonna be very interesting, the women's 4x4, because Sydney normally runs like 2nd or 3rd leg. They might save Sid for the anchor leg just in case it comes down to Femke and this thing's close. Now that's what I want to see. I believe if Femke Ball has anything less than a 5-meter lead, Sid will go get her. I've seen Sid run open 48.75 and not be pushed. I've seen her run 22.07 and really not be pushed. I believe she can go. She might be the first since Metarina Cope in 85 to go below 48, Justin.
Well, first of all, you making my appetite for a competition kind of like spark right now, dog. To watch Sydney run down Femke Ball in the finals of the women's 4x4 with 5-meter gap, boy, that is going to be amazing to watch.
5 might be too much. 5 might be too much but here's the thing. We've seen when people apply pressure to Femke. We saw it in the World Championship. We saw when the girl put that pressure and started to ease up on her, we saw it tied her up. You see, it's easier to run from behind than it is the front, Justin. You know this, because you get to relax. Now, all of a sudden, because if she doesn't come back, ain't nobody saying nothing. Everybody said, well, man, look how far she had to come from. Right. But when you in the front and you feel that pressure and that crowd, ooh, 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 and they start standing and they start chomping at the bit, and you hear that crowd, you know, even if you don't look at the board, Justin, you hear it. You know it, you can feel it. Now all of a sudden you're like, damn, my hamstring's starting to tighten up.
Yeah.
Ooh, now you start running straight up, you start looking like Michael Johnson running. And see it coming.
Absolutely, boy. If they come out with the hood whoop in Paris during the Olympics, boy, I'm gonna come out of retirement, boy. That's entertainment right there for sure.
Oh, that'd be dope.